Today on MH News, we're answering all of your questions, so stick around. Today on MH News, we're answering all of your questions, and we're going off script a little bit. These questions are all ones that were submitted to info@haslam.com or that we found on Facebook that were submitted with private messages or comments below our posts and stuff like that. So if you don't hear your question on the show, please don't get offended. There's a lot of questions that we had to get through, trying to get through them all. So we're going to try to hurry it up and condense our show into probably hopefully less than 15 minutes. So don't get offended at that. So our first question today comes from Facebook. How did you get into starting your own business? I'm going to reword that just for legalities. How did you get into being self-employed? Basically, at the age of 9 years old, I was, basically into music and stuff like that, and I loved performing drums and guitar and bass guitar, so I started my own charity group at like 10 or something like that, and that charity group evolved into, performing, 2-3 shows a day for the entire month of December, and that really started my love of going on tour and doing this full time and stuff like that. It also taught a lot about the logistics of it all, of gear, what equipment I needed, how it all needed to be set up and stuff like that, and how to set up and tear down in efficient manners. That way you can get from one show to the next, and basically we had, sometimes less than an hour to set down, drive a half hour away, and set up the next show. So it taught a lot about that. And then I think when I was like 13 or something like that, I started opening the show for world famous bands, performing out of state, and I decided to headline my own tour that year, and went on tour doing 10 shows in 10 weeks with different special effects. And I really owe a lot of what my music success would be back then to concentrate on the visuals, because all these other bands and performers were, spending all this money on sound equipment and, on different auto-tune programs and stuff like that. And I was out there, spending money on lighting equipment, on doing pyrotechnics during my show, doing, rain machines, falling curtains, projection equipment, all this type of stuff that everybody else didn't really care about, and yet I was out there doing it, and I think that's why my show was successful. And luckily we were able to do all that with, backup dancers, with opening acts for my own show. So very luckily that was all happening. I was doing sound and lights at the same time for my high school, my grade school, and stuff like that. And I'm very proud of the fact that every school I've ever went to hired me as a sound and lighting technician. So really that's how I got my start. And really in filmmaking, I started that back in college when I wanted to do a music video. Really everything grew out of music for me. I was doing my own music, and then I needed sound and lighting equipment for my own show, and I knew going on tour and stuff like that, I needed a lot of equipment for many shows, and I didn't have the money to keep spending on renting equipment. So for me, it was just easier to get my own and learn the craft myself. That way it can be my show, I can design it, and I can, have engineers I trust behind the equipment, So for me, that's how it all got started for filming. It all got started with doing music videos for my own productions, and basically that evolved from there, and now I'm doing music videos for everybody else, and doing productions for everybody else. So everything grew out of that. But I'm very lucky that the fact that since I was like 9 years old, I've been self-employed. So that's kind of cool. Not everybody can say that. What's your opinions on men and women divide in the entertainment industry? If you're not familiar with this, there's not anywhere near the amount of women in the entertainment industry as men. If you look at like performers and stuff like that, there's a lot of women out there in performing, but if you look at engineering and filmmaking and stuff like that, you're maybe talking 5% women. Just to my best guess there. I don't know the actual numbers, but that's just my best guess. I've never actually seen any women in engineering or filmmaking. Never, ever seen it. Back in college, we were students, and there was a couple people, but in professional setting, I've never seen that. So it's very odd to me, and I'm a firm believer in women having the same exact rights and the same pay, and I don't know why there's not more women filmmakers. I definitely want there to be. Not only the fact that, I would love to meet them and work with them and stuff like that, and maybe even date them. I don't know, but I think because being an entertainment industry, a lot of engineers and filmmakers are single still, so certainly it'd be nice to get a couple women in the industry, but not just because of that. Obviously, we want to have women here because it's great to collab with people, but I think women offer a different aspect to the creative side than men can ever offer. So definitely I would welcome that, but I don't know why. I don't know why it's not more common. Why do you enjoy photography? Well, this is really for two reasons: for motion photography and still photography, which I do, casually on the side of everything else. The motion photography is mostly for professional video services, but I just do like hobbyist type landscape work with photography right now. And for me, I really enjoy it because I like telling a story, and it doesn't matter if I've told a story a bunch of times of, a black powder mill that we went to recently, and that had a great backstory to it that, it exploded twice within 100 years. It actually exploded on the anniversary 100 years later and killed a bunch more people. And so that type of story in a location is something that I seek out, and I love hearing that story, and I love learning the history of a location before I go there. But I love it because I can tell a story, and it doesn't matter if it's that great of a story or if it's just like a rusty car that I find somewhere. That itself tells a great story to me. So for me, I want to preserve, the second reason is I want to preserve that story. Not just tell the story, but I want to preserve it. Part of the whole documentary that I'm doing right now is Reminiscence, which is mostly about just preserving the stories that our grandparents are telling us. That way, those stories are never lost. So for me, it's about telling a story and preserving that story for all time. And I think photography is a great way to do that. But I think, the same reason I like songwriting, because I can tell a story. Hello, how are you doing? Good. Thank you, Facebook fan. That's random. All right. Who do you think will win the Super Bowl? I don't think it's any. I think it's very apparent that I'm not a huge fan. And I think in like the first episode of season 1, and we just did an episode on profitable musicians that really highlighted my love for the NFL and everything. So basically for me, watching the Super Bowl is mostly a time where, during the actual game itself, I go to, making popcorn, use the restroom or grab a slice of pizza or something like that while the actual game's going on, as long as I'm back for when the commercials are, which I love watching commercials. But the better question there would be, can you name 5 teams from the NFL? And the answer is probably not. Because I live in Pennsylvania, I can probably name like Eagles, Steelers, and Jets and Giants. But beyond that, I'm out. I really don't know, and I don't care. Sorry if you like sports. Probably I'll never perform at the Super Bowl because I'll want to get paid. Do you use Magic Lantern, or do you recommend it? Okay, sorry. Do you recommend Magic Lantern, or do you use it? If you're not familiar with Magic Lantern, it's a plug-in for your cameras for DSLRs. It's something additional that Canon and Nikon don't approve of, and it voids your warranty. But it allows you to record more than a half hour. It allows you to do a bunch of more things in your camera. Some love it. I don't use it personally because a lot of what I do only requires less than a half hour, so I'm happy with it. And if I ever need more than a half hour, either I'm going to hit record really quickly again and get the next shot, or if I'm recording like an event, like a wedding or something like that, then I'll have 2 cameras, that way I can go back and forth with. So it's not really a problem for me. But I don't use it. I don't recommend it because I've heard too many stories about it being bad for the camera, and I don't know about you, but we're on a budget here, and each one of our cameras costs like $1,000. So just because we have more than one doesn't mean we want to just ruin one. So next question. Your set changed and why? Yes, thanks for noticing. Our set changed a lot in the past month or so here. We went from doing articles to doing videos, and then it was like just me sitting behind my desk and you guys looking at the back of my desk here. And now it's mostly like, you know, you're in the office with me. And I like it because not only behind the camera, normally on our episodes, you'll see a teleprompter back there and stuff like that. And actually, this just goes into the next question here. Can you show us behind the scenes of MH News? So I'm going to do that with this camera, but basically behind the scenes here is very, very cool set, actually. I love it because, you know, you have my desk here with a laptop normally and microphone, and it made it a lot easier for audio for us. But then in front of the desk here, you have, you know, speakers and stuff like that allow me to edit normally with all my videos. And then behind here we'll have all of the audio gear that we have and all of our power, and then power amps and all that kind of stuff that allow us to edit. And there are actually some of the power amps that we use for the normal shows and stuff like that we do. Then we have, let's get in front of here, and I'm gonna probably go off mic here, but sorry. We have the camera, which is normally on a tripod up there, and then behind that normally the tripod and camera are much farther back than what they are here for the Q&A, but behind that is normally the teleprompter back there. It's just a screen with the teleprompter app that we found, so it offers us a way to keep on script and keep our videos relatively short in length. That way you can get the most out of the video, most out of your time. Then, you know, normally we have Twister. Hey! Normally we have Twister here on set. Say hi. But she's normally here for most of the productions, just overseeing as the supervisor. But normally we have up here 2 of our can lights that allow us to have a key light and a fill light. And it's kind of weird because our set for MH News is roughly about $15 in cost to make it with the cans. But the set we use for MH Lounge, which is only once a month, maybe once a month. MH News gets out twice a week, every week, all the year, so it's 104 episodes a year. MH Lounge is only maybe 12 episodes a year, and we use these moving head spotlights that are back there and back there behind me, kind of as a prop for MH News, but they're just set pieces that for this show, but they're actually the main lights that we use for MH Lounge, which again is a lot less episodes a year than MH News, but they're a heck of a lot more expensive, and I think they're like $1,500 a piece. So it's funny always coming into the set and seeing them and not using them every week and using the regular can lights every week. So it's kind of hilarious showing other people the set. So hope you find humor in that. But our set changed because we wanted to go on script and we wanted to use the teleprompter and stuff like that more. So with any teleprompter situation, you want the teleprompter as far back from your host as possible. That way, you know, you can not be able to see the host reading the script, you know, and have his eyes go back and forth and reading it. When you're far away with the camera and the teleprompter, you enable your audience to not see that going on. So that's kind of why we changed the set, as well as the fact that it's more comfortable for me to host here, and more comfortable for me to just be in the hosting zone. So because I'm behind the desk, and normally a host is behind a desk, so that's kind of how we do it around here. There's a bunch more questions, but I'm not going to be able to get to them. Sorry. We're going on like 16 minutes, so I'm going to kind of stop it there. If you have any more questions, you can certainly submit them to info@haslam.com or private message us on Facebook. Comment below on Facebook or YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for plenty more content to come. We're going to try to do like a series every month, maybe doing like Sundays or something like that, of just random ideas, and then our Thursday episodes will be themed to a certain thing, and I think next month we're theming it factored in, telling you guys what exactly goes into a full production for film, for music, for a music show, all these different things. We're going to try to theme some things and make, little series out of MH News for certain episodes. And then we love your submissions. I think last time we got like 25 some submissions that we actually end up using. We got a bunch more, but 25 submissions that we end up using, additional from the ones we had before we even started MH News back in November. So we love submissions, and please keep them coming if you have any suggestions for the show. One of the suggestions was to shorten the episodes. We definitely use that, and we love that suggestion. So basically keep coming with suggestions. This is a two-way street here, so we're trying to teach as much as we can to you. You guys teach us, so teach us what you want, and we'll hopefully be able to create it. So thanks for watching, and see us back here every Sunday and Thursday for brand new episodes, and thanks for your questions again.